Ooh, Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
No, why?
Yep, December 25th, the same day as Walt Disney's Into the Woods, which of course has to star Johnny Depp. I think I could probably rattle off every horror movie that will come out for the rest of the year.
Well, all right. So, real quick for our viewers who haven't seen The Conjuring, Annabelle is like a super, super short, like, sort of like mini movie at the beginning of Conjuring. All right, I guess we should backtrack. The Conjuring is about these two, like, real life people back in the 70s who used to, like, go do, like, seances and, like, they were mediums and stuff like that. They were completely full of bullshit. Like, well, like, that's like,
they're mediums.
Yeah, like they got called out. Like they're complete frauds. Like it's not negotiable. But so they're complete frauds. But anyway,
if anyone's wondering, Ed and Lorraine Warren. That's the name of the real people.
Yeah, played by.
If you want to Wikipedia it.
Yeah, played by awesome actors in the movie. But basically, like it starts out where there's basically just like this haunted doll. Nothing much happens, but it's super super creepy, and they don't touch on it again. And so Annabelle is, I guess, a prequel? Yeah, it's a prequel, basically, to The Conjuring.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically your classic possessed doll story. Really creepy. What I think is even more unsettling, though, like, I know, Anton, you said you hadn't seen it, but the doll that they have for, like, the Annabelle doll is, like, this really, really stylized, looks like a creepy porcelain American Girl doll, like, really fancy. If you look up pictures of the actual Annabelle doll, straight up just a Raggedy Ann doll, which I think makes it more creepy.
I didn't know there was, like...
Yeah, you can actually see pictures, and, like, they actually do real tours of their home where they've collected all these, like, occult artifacts to keep them safe from everybody else, right? But, no, it's just a straight-up Raggedy Ann doll. And I think that makes it way more terrifying because it's, like, a super innocuous item that was, like, in everybody's house. It would be like having a haunted Cabbage Patch doll. Like,
well, dude, there was
thinking, like, is it my haunted
Teddy
Cabbage
Ruxpin, get out!
Right.
There was a movie, maybe you know this because since you're a horror movie buff, and it's not really a horror movie, but like when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I saw this movie, and I'm pretty sure I saw it on TV, but it might have been like a VHS at the time. But it was a movie about a stuffed bear, and like they kept like trying to like throw the bear away, and it would just like show up again, and it started killing this family off.
Right.
It was basically a haunted teddy bear. But that movie scared the fucking shit out of me, and I never wanted anything to do with teddy bears for my entire goddamn life. Like, I still don't like them. I want nothing to do with them. Like, there's this one scene where, like, the dad, he's like, fuck this bear, and he, like, takes it outside and puts it in the trash can and, like, locks the trash can lid, and then he comes back inside and it's, like, sitting on the kitchen counter. And it's like, that is the worst thing that could happen to me.
If you guys ever, like, are bored at work or whatever, it's always fun to just, like, go on eBay and look up haunted items.
Because people, like, that's actually super fun.
So, like, haunted paintings, haunted dolls.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you never want to buy that stuff, of course, just because it's stupid, but when reading the descriptions is very entertaining.
Oh, see, and I was going to say, like, I never want to buy it because I'm like, it's total bullshit, but what if it is?
Right.
But what if my walls start weeping blood? And, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I love that crap. But, yeah, like, I don't know. Annabelle, it looks like it might be okay. Like, the trailer, once again, looks like it's giving away way too much of the movie. Way too much of the movie.
That's just a problem in general.
Yeah, no, I know. That's like a general problem with all movies. But I feel like there are certain genres of movies that are more disserviced by that, and that's like horror, thriller, and sci-fi. Because usually they rely on some sort of plot twist or some sort of, like, tension hanging in the air. So if you just cut all the tension in the trailer, you're really doing the movie a disservice.
Well, and they put jumps in the trailers that you should be saving for the movie.
Right. Yep. Right. Like, I don't know. I definitely think that the best part of horror movies, and I'm even like a horror movie nerd, is atmosphere. Like, the best horror movies do a great job of building a creepy atmosphere without relying on jump scares or dumb, stupid tactics like that. And the best horror film trailers do that. They rely on atmosphere instead. They don't rely on jump scares. They give you just enough that you're wondering what the hell is going on. I remember Guillermo del Toro's Mama. The trailer for that was really good because you kind of think you know what's going on, but you're not sure. Like, all you know is there's these little girls that are creepy and feral, and you don't really know what's going on. And it was good. They did a good job. I mean, like, the movie was okay, but the trailer was good. They did a good job of cutting that up.
All I really want from a trailer is I want to know, like, the genre, and I want to know maybe who's in it, which isn't even really important. I mean, if it's someone that I care about, like, maybe toss them in there for a quick second. And I want to know, like, the super brief one-sentence summary. That's it. Right. That's all I want. Give me 20 seconds and trailer over. Like, these 2.5-minute trailers, that's a fraction of the movie. Stop it.
Right.
Don't do that.
No, I remember, this goes back when they released, like, the extended Lord of the Rings. I remember on, like, the back of the case, it was, like, 15 minutes added. I'm like, 15 minutes? That's nothing. But then I did the math where it's like, oh, that's 1 extra minute for every 6 minutes of film. Like, that's actually a pretty good chunk of extra stuff added. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, 2 minutes of a hour-and-a-half movie, that's a pretty substantial chunk of stuff you're showing, especially if you're showing the hits, you know, like the scares, the jumps. That's going to be most of it. I don't know.
Well,
it drives me crazy.
Well, what's also funny about, like, sort of extended stuff is that's how they're getting around. I know, like, Anton, you watched the video for this. You might have also, John, but, like, that's how they're getting around not releasing rated R movies and releasing PG-13 movies. Is, like, they'll basically cut back the things that would make it R in theaters, and then they release, like, the director's or uncut version as R afterward.
Right, but in doing so, they make me seem like a jackass because I'm sitting here defending Live Free or Die Hard, but everybody's only ever seen the PG-13 version, which isn't a freaking Die Hard movie. It's awful. Yeah. It's nothing good. But if you watch the actual unrelated one that they came out with later, it's a Die Hard movie. It has swear words, it has blood, it has violence, and it's just like, now I just look like a jackass because I'm defending this movie that people only know the kiddie version of.
Yep.
Excuse me, I shouldn't insult children. They're capable of watching R-rated movies.
Well, they don't know anything, so you can make fun of them.
That's
right. That's so
they're literally worthless.
I literally can't even sell their organs on the black. Well, actually, no, I can't.
Actually, I think they're more valuable. You should be selling them on the black market. That's
they're
the best.
veal.
That's the thing you can do with them.
They're veal organs.
Exactly.
Best kind.
Other movies that are coming out, I'm super excited for the Rosewater movie. That's Jon Stewart's. It's why he left the show.
Yeah. It's the one in the Middle East.
Super exciting. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. That's actually later this month. So I'm super excited about that. It looks like it's going to be really tense, which I like. And I love Jon Stewart. He's awesome. Really excited for Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys read that book?
No, I haven't read the book, no.
Oh, see, and I haven't either because I'm waiting. Because by the time I found out about the book, the movie had already been announced, and there's no better way to ruin a movie than getting false expectations from the book. So instead, I'll wait until after the movie, read the book, and it'll be better. And I'll be okay with that.
It's a good idea. I should do that in the future.
Yeah.
Like I was going to read the book immediately before it comes out.
Right.
Ruins it all.
It's false hope. It'll never be as good.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for The Hobbit.
So I'm not excited, but I'm excited about going to see it in the theater because so I saw the first Hobbit in theaters, hated it, like thought it was terrible.
You mean An Unexpected Journey?
Yes. I didn't see the second one just because I was so pissed off with the first one, and I just kind of like forgot to go see it.
The Desolation of Smaug.
Yeah. But I did enjoy it when I watched it like later. It was decent. Like it wasn't terrible. But the third one, I'm excited because like I know there's gonna be a time where I'm just like I need to kill 3 hours, and I am so excited to kill 3 hours with that movie.
Right. No, and I will say that I hated the second movie. 2 words: barrel scene. It was awful. Half of it was filmed with the GoPro.
That's what most people give the most credit to is the barrel scene.
It's terrible, and it's not even close to what happened in the book. And I know that makes me a hipster for being like, it's not like the book, but it's terrible. Like it's.
But to be fair, like the movie. All right, so Hobbit it's not a very long book, and they made 3 movies out of it. So they tossed in stuff from the. Whose is that?
I have
Anton?
no idea. What was that?
I'm assuming it's Anton. Because he has a window open.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's me, yeah. I got an open mic, so.
I heard
Sorry.
But yeah, so they tossed in things from other books. What's that other Tolkien one? It's like the Lama Ding Dong.
That is what it is.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
That's the correct title.
I guess
or
like
the Silmarillion.
Yes.
Whatever you prefer.
Same thing.
Potato.
It depends on if you're speaking Quenya or the other elf language. I don't remember what it's called.
But yeah, so I never read that one, but I guess like they pulled stuff from that book into like the Hobbit movie to make it longer. And I guess they just made shit up. Like I guess
Evangeline Lilly's character
doesn't exist.
Right, it's Peter Jackson pulling shit out of his asshole. Yeah. Literally. Like, just totally made up.
Like, I read that book in, like, middle school. And so luckily, like, I don't remember it enough to, like, go, like, full on, like, geek rage at the movie. But I remember enough where I'm just like, that definitely was not in the book.
Right. Well, and it's like the Hobbit straight up. First of all, it's before the war that completely changed Tolkien's life and made him kind of like a cynical, jaded asshole. So the Hobbit is straight up a kid's book. Like, it's very lighthearted. It's like, hey, let's go on an adventure with my friends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And even though there's heavy elements, it doesn't focus on those at all. Like, there's this huge war at the end of the book, and I think it gets wrapped up in like a chapter. Because it's like, oh, and then all these people fought, but then it got over.
Yeah.
But Peter Jackson, like, as much as I love him, he just got, by the end of Lord of the Rings, I feel like he had developed a Tolkien God complex, and now it's just like, it's all so bloated and awful and terrible. And
well, Del Toro almost did it.
Which I would have loved. Like, okay, I can't say I would have loved it, because as much as I love Guillermo del Toro, he could have screwed it up. Sure, anybody could have screwed it up. But the reason that I was really looking forward to it is I wanted to see del Toro's take on the creatures. Like, because obviously Peter Jackson is going to make a way different orc than Guillermo del Toro is.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see that. I wanted to see hobbits that looked maybe a little bit creepier and scarier.
It would have been darker, for sure.
Oh, for sure. But it also would have been more tongue-in-cheek, which I love as well. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, they would have been very different movies. Yep. And it would have just been fun. Like, I don't know.
I don't really blame Peter Jackson for this one, though, because like this is one of those things where it was obviously a marketing thing. You know, like the studio said, we made so much fucking money off of this series, we should do another series. I mean, if we can milk, is there any way we can take this book and make 3 movies? If we can, we might as well, because we can cash in on it. Mm-hmm. And it just got passed down the ladder. And this is a problem in video games where they make franchises. I mean, look at, you know, there are so many series that have just gone downhill. And same with TV, same with, I mean, it's just, you know, these corporations and big wigs make these decisions. How can we cash in on this crap? And, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably enough on The Hobbit. I'm sure we'll talk about this in later months.
Yeah.
I'll give my 2 cents whenever I see it, if I do.
Battle of 5 Armies.
We've been talking like a lot about Interstellar, and I have to say, like, I'm not that excited. I don't get why everyone's so pumped about it.
Did you watch True Detective?
No.
Okay. Watch True Detective, and then you will be excited for anything Matthew McConaughey will ever be in for the rest of his life. Like, I don't know. It's completely changed my opinion of the man.
He's been on a good streak lately. He was in Mud, which was really good, and then he was in True Detective, which was really good. So he's like, I think he decided he consciously wanted to break out of that, like, that, you know, his rom-com kind of like stage he did for 10 years.
Right.
So, I mean, he's like going after some pretty serious roles, and he is like a legitimately very, very broad, good actor. So,
No.
I'm also not super excited for Interstellar. I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I think it's going to be good. I'm hoping it's good. I hope it's great, but I'm not going to walk into it expecting 8 out of 10. You know.
Yeah.
You see, and I'm really torn because for years and years and years, I said that Christopher Nolan was my favorite director. Everything he did, I loved. Like, he did Following, he did Memento, he did the American remake of Insomnia, he did Inception, he did all these things, and then The Dark Knight Rises came out.
And then he did one about superheroes.
Right. And it was like, Batman Begins was my shit. Like, I saw that movie, and I was just giddy with excitement. I was like, this is what Batman was supposed to be. This is awesome. And then The Dark Knight came out, which I think we don't even need to talk about, because, I mean, it was just amazing. Like, it was incredible. It was a brilliant film. It was awesome. And then The Dark Knight Rises came back, and it retroactively ruined the entire trilogy for me. He screwed up so bad that I can't even go back and watch those movies and enjoy them, because I know how it ends.
Just pretend like it doesn't exist.
I know, like, that's the happy thing, right? So now I'm super torn because I'm here with this guy who I said was my favorite director, who also happened to ruin my favorite comic book character franchise. So it's like, I don't know what to think. I don't know if maybe, like, even listening to interviews where he's talking about Batman and where he's like, well, I just wanted to tell a Batman story that could end. That was like, there was a clear beginning and a clear end. And I'm like, well, then don't tell a Batman story, because there is no ending to Batman. Like, Batman is forever. Batman is God.
Well, we're talking about his parents.
Oh, snap. But yeah, so who knows? It might be total shit.
One movie that I'm not going to go see, but is interesting, is that Elijah Wood and Sasha Grey movie, Open Window.
Oh, I'm definitely going to go see that.
It's not rated XXX, dude.
Oh, never mind.
I'm
still going to go see it.
Remind me, because I can't remember. So like, it sounds familiar, but I don't know.
I haven't seen the trailer or anything. I just saw pictures of Elijah Wood with one of the most filthy adult actresses in the business, and I was just like, What? Well,
Hey, we all got jobs. Come on.
It's true.
You
We
do around
all
some pretty
do
dirty
have
servers, my
jobs.
friends.
yeah.
Terrible. But
I'm sure you've
also
been
very
elbow
true.
deep in some stuff you wish you weren't. I mean,
Nope. If I'm ever elbow deep, I'm committed. Let's not forget that Night at the Museum, the new one's coming out.
Oh God, fuck me. Let's also not forget that Annie is coming out with Will Smith's daughter as Annie.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because,
Why would you bring
dude,
that up?
he's like forcing his kids to be like actors and actresses.
I know.
do you guys ever follow Jaden Smith's Twitter account?
Why
No,
would
but
I
I
do
heard he's
that?
crazy.
It's the best thing. He is either completely insane to the point, like, beyond insane, to, like, astronomical, always high levels of insane, or he's
Right.
a genius. Like, he's the new Socrates. Like, straight up. Just, like, go find his Twitter sometime and read it, and it's just, I don't know. I can't
Can't
do it
describe.
justice.
Words don't explain.
Yeah.
Words can't describe his words. What about,
Also-
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, do you guys remember those really weird, crazy Christian novels, the Left Behind series? And then they made like a bunch of TV movies.
Well, I didn't
they're
read them,
remaking
but
it with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's not excited? Who's not excited for that? Just last one. How do you guys feel about Fury? Are you excited? Are
I
you not
don't
excited?
know what that is, I don't think.
That's the World War II drama about a tank with Brad Pitt.
I'll watch it when it comes out on video. I'm not going to pay money to see. It's going to probably be good, but it's, I don't know.
Generic
what-
war movie.
I know, but this is my thing, is sometimes the, like, they're not B-list actors, but the, like, ones who are credited further down make me more excited than the main stars. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, Brad Pitt in another World War II movie? Like, okay, we just saw Inglourious Bastards, and how are you going to be better than your character in that movie, right? Even though that was totally faux fiction, made up, whatever.
Yeah.
But I saw that Michael Pena is in it, and I got super excited. Because I know that I had told both of you guys to watch End of Watch. Like, that movie, it's so good, and he's so awesome. He was also in Crash, and he was so awesome in Crash.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like,
Yep.
I'm super excited to see him in it. So, I don't know. Maybe, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be bad. I'm just not pumped about it.
Right. Well, I just wonder, I hope that it doesn't pull a 12 Years a Slave, and it's like, obviously shooting for awards. Like, I just hope they make a movie to make a movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I've got some bad news for you.
I know, right?
How do you guys
Yeah.
feel about Dumb and Dumber 2?
Oh, I'll see it. I mean,
I'll probably go see.
yeah. There are comedies don't hit for me. Like, I don't really like, and I very rarely see comedies in theater. Like, I'll rent it, watch it at home, like, Redbox it. But Dumb and Dumber was such a huge formative movie for me, I've got to go to the theater. Like, I've got to support, you know. And there are some movies that are worth it.
It's another thing. I'm going in with low expectations, but if it's great, I'm going to be super excited. Because
Yeah.
the first one was awesome.
Yeah, I'm going in with the lowest expectations possible.
Which is awesome, because I kind of think that that's what they're hoping. Like, I really feel like they've both raised and lowered the bar. That's what I'm hoping, at least.
Yeah, so I mean, I remember loving Dumb and Dumber, but I recently like rewatched it like a couple months ago, and it wasn't bad, but like Jim Carrey, like after you age a little bit, he definitely becomes like super obnoxious.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the stuff that was like really funny, I was just like,
If you ever want to pull off your own fingernails, try watching the Ace Ventura movies again.
No, see, I'll argue with it, because I just watched them again, like, not too long ago.
I
They're
can't
great.
do it. I
They're
can't
great.
do it.
They're
Like,
so good.
He's so obnoxious. I guess what would be worse than Ace Ventura is watching The Mask again.
oh
Okay,
no.
yeah, now that's not
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like, oh man, like, I think that what's funny is I grew up with When Nature Calls and not the first one, so I find the first one even worse. Like, I can't even watch it. It's just terrible. But When Nature Calls, there are funny parts. Like, it's okay, you know, but terrible.
It's
Terrible.
It's awesome for what it's supposed to be. Like, it was never trying to be the best comedy. It was just trying to be, like, let's watch Jim Carrey be crazy for an hour and a half.
Right. Yeah, but that's what people say about Rob Schneider films, and I'm not going to go see a Rob Schneider film. I really want to know what you thought about your homework assignment.
So our homework assignment, for those who don't know, because you wouldn't know because we haven't told anyone, we all watched two movies, Willow Creek and Detention. So let's start with Willow Creek.
Okay, let's start with Willow Creek.
Wait, we need to talk about like what the premise of it first.
Okay. So Willow Creek is this movie. It's a found footage movie. It was released by what's his name, Bobcat
Goldthwait.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yep. And I mean, like the entire crew of this movie must have been like 5 or 6 people. I mean, honestly, it's super small crew. There's 2 main characters, a boyfriend and a girlfriend. The boyfriend is obsessed with Bigfoot, and he decides he wants to go to the area that the famous Bigfoot footage was filmed in, and he wants to try to track down either Bigfoot himself or like evidence of Bigfoot or just, whatever. He's just going on an adventure because he's young and apparently has lots of money and time off work. So he convinces his girlfriend to come with him, and they go out there and things go awry.
And she, of course, is a skeptic. That was the first thing that annoyed me. It's like, there's only 2 characters in the film, so of course one of them believes and the other doesn't.
It's Mulder and Scully, dude. You have to do it.
Absolutely. Yep. This being said, the original footage is actually fascinating, and after I watched Willow Creek, like everybody's seen the footage, the like real life Gimlin and someone else, I forget. But it's like if you've ever seen the Bigfoot by the creek stand up, walk away, like classic iconic footage, that's what it is. And people still to this day are trying to prove or disprove it. And it's funny that like nobody can agree.
Well, isn't there a reality TV show called like Finding Bigfoot or something?
Oh yeah, and it's the most ridiculous show you'll ever see in your life. I saw like 10 minutes of it once because it was on TV in like a hotel room or something like that, and it's literally a bunch of drunk rednecks in the woods doing the loosest science you've ever seen. Like it's literally like, okay, so they have this footage of Bigfoot climbing the tree this fast. Hey Jim, run out there and try to climb that tree. And then like Jim, who's a 390-pound dude, gets like 2 branches up and he's like, I can't. It's too hard. And they're like, it's proved only Sasquatch could climb that tree. And it's just like, it's terrible. It's awful. So anyway, this couple, right? First of all, let me say, one scene of the film was awesome. And I really liked it. Which one?
The proposal, right?
No.
That was my favorite part.
All right, we need to say spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So,
if you're going to spoil the hell out of this movie, because you're not going to watch it.
Yeah, just skip forward a couple of minutes.
Right. Yeah, skip forward a while. I mean, there's nothing we can do, but this is a movie specifically that you can't discuss without spoiling. I mean,
right.
Because nothing happens until spoilery things happen.
Yeah, nothing happens until it happens, and then once it happens, it's over. So
which nothing starts happening until there's only 10 minutes left in the movie. They had to wrap that shit up really quick. Yeah. But no, just the tent scene. They did a really good job of making it really tense. And like, I was doing the thing. I'm watching on my computer and I'm like turning it up to see if I can hear things. But then I'm like, I got to turn it back down because something loud's going to happen. Yep. But then I'm turning it back up because I can't hear anything.
See,
and it was good. They did a good job of building tension.
They did a good job in the scene, but I don't want to give them that much credit because like how they did it and the whole tent scene was like done with Blair Witch. Like how long ago? Like in 99 or whenever that was made. So, I mean, they did a good job doing something that they know works.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I mean, they were relying on something that's basic human nature. Anybody who's ever been camping and been in a tent has had the experience where they think they hear something and then they sit as quietly as they can in their tent for the next 20 minutes trying to figure out what the hell is going on, right?
Yep.
And they did a good job. And some of the noises that like the Sasquatch was making was pretty cool. Like that very first thing that sounds almost like an air raid siren.
Yeah.
Like I got chills. I was like, okay, like that's pretty freaky.
It's just a little disturbing.
Right, it's just like, you don't hear that noise. Like, out in the woods, you hear a lot of weird shit. You don't hear that. You know what I mean? So that was cool. Like, that did a really good job of setting the mood.
Setting the next 5 minutes.
But, oh man, it was terrible after that. It really was. Like,
the thing that bugged me is that, like, so after the tent scene, they get, day breaks, they realize that this is now a bad idea, so they're going to try to go back to the car and get the fuck out. And while we're watching it, Ryan made the comment like, they're going to get back to the car and they're going to find their car all smashed up. Like when they got back to their tent the first time and found their tent all smashed up.
Would have been good filmmaking if that would have been the case.
That would have been great filmmaking because then instead of them being stuck in the woods because of their own stupidity and because they just got lost, if you go fucking hiking in the woods, you leave a trail like Hansel and Gretel, that shit.
Get a compass.
Get a compass. Don't get lost.
Not only that, they are the dumbest hikers ever because it is established very firmly in the movie.
Oh, the creek.
If you want to find it, the creek is on your left. There's a cliff on the right. follow it, you're there.
Yeah,
to get back, reverse directions, you know?
Yeah.
There's no way you could get lost, like, being that specific. Stick to the creek. Like, just walk up the creek. You know what I mean? So they were just trying to do the Blair Witch thing, but Blair Witch did it way better because it's like over days that they're lost and like stumbling around and can't find anything. You know what I mean? Whereas this was like, we're lost for 20 minutes, we give up.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that would have been a lot better if they would have gotten back and found the car smashed, then they would have absolutely had no exit. So there's no hope at that point. So
right.
that you get like that, hopelessness, and then it could have ended the same way.
I had the exact same thought, except for what I wanted it to be is they meet that douchebag in the woods who's like, how about you guys just get the hell out of here, and like hits him and everything. I wanted him to be like, not be there, but to have like sacrificed them. Like, you guys didn't listen, so like he's like slashed the tires and like smeared the car with blood. Like, come get him.
That would have
been awesome. Like, he knows what's going on, and he's like, they didn't listen, so I guess they're the food for the week. You know what I mean? And that would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it.
Or like he like comes to like mess with their stuff again, but he gets taken away.
Oh yeah, that would have been scary as hell. Like,
by the big feet.
Scary
or
guy.
they just find that guy. How cool would it have been if they just like find that guy, just like torn the fuck apart.
Right.
Like, fuck.
Right. Yeah. So. No, that would have been awesome. But instead, like, I really feel like they spent so much time building the story, and then they wrapped it all up in seriously what felt like 10 minutes. Like, shift the movie. You can't have the climax be the shortest part of the movie. Like, give us a little bit of resolution. Give us a little bit of, action. Don't wrap it all up in 30 seconds.
Yeah. That's the thing is that, I mean, I don't know, maybe the point, like, I'm trying to think about this from, like, a filmmaking standpoint, and I think that the whole idea was that the tent scene was more intense because all the way building up to it, like them.
I see what you did there.
I know. It's like
very intense.
Like, anyways, so it's
like the fire at the circus.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, we're watching this movie, and so they start off, they're driving in the car for like what feels like 6 hours, and I keep saying like something's gonna jump out and land on the hood. Like I'm waiting for the jump scare, and it never happens. And then they're in town talking to people. I'm like, someone's gonna run out of like nowhere and tear someone's head off, and it doesn't happen. And there's nothing. And like the first like itsy bitsy itty bitty scare you get is like when they're walking through the woods and like he gets hit in the face with a stick, and it's like really loud, and it's sort of like a jump. But by the time you get to the tent, so little has happened that you're just like, I don't even know if this is gonna be a scary movie anymore. Like I was bracing myself to the point where this is gonna be like a found footage, like maybe they find Sasquatch and then they're famous and everything's great,
Right.
So I don't know.
feel like any movies now that are made currently that are based off that Blair Witch formula, what gives them watch value to me is when weird shit happens in the background. But it happens so fast that, like, if you're in a theater, you don't catch it. Like, you know something happened, that you saw something, you glimpsed something, but you have no idea what it was. And this movie had none of that. Like, I constantly was like, I just want to see something. Like, they come into a clearing, and they just see, like, a fraction of something moving behind the tree line.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I wanted. I just wanted something where it was, like, intriguing, where it's like, oh, we're actually onto something. And by the time they were actually onto something, it was over. It was done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm really depressed they didn't even try to make a Bigfoot character. I mean, you saw that chick, but that was it. Like the bride of Bigfoot. But there was never actually. You didn't even get like a hand or like anything.
Eyes
there's completely nothing.
Right. Yeah. No. Anything would have been good. Like even if it was like the feet as the camera fell down at the end was like shaking, like something walks by, and you just get a fraction of a second of it. That would have been cool. Like whatever.
A fraction of a very large foot.
Right. That's all. Okay. How did you guys like Detention?
It was good.
Loved it. It was amazing.
Yeah, so I would definitely describe it as like another movie critic I read did, which is Scream meets Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yeah. Totally.
No, pretty much exactly what it is.
Yeah. It was funny because at every turn I expected to get like every new scene was a turning point where I said either they're going to normalize or they're going to make it more ridiculous, and every time they made it more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like every time they added a new something where I was like, are you serious? Like now they're like the time traveling bear, the first time you like see the UFO and the time traveling bear, and you're like, what movie am I watching anymore? Like this has nothing to do with anything. and then just like the creepy guy who's been in detention for 30 years.
I loved his like little backstory like mini movie. Like that was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I think is I love that they like tied up the loose ends. You know, like even though it wasn't the best story, it wasn't the best ending.
No,
it wasn't,
no.
That movie's not the best anything. It's awesome, but it's not the best anything. Right. But they tied up like. Anytime you deal with time travel, you got to tie up the loose ends, and that's a huge problem with time travel movies. And they totally did. It all wove together and made sense. Loved it.
And like the part where I rolled my eyes the hardest is when they're like, "Oh, we need to watch this movie because it explains what happens," and then the characters in the movie are like, "We need to watch this like Betamax tape," and then they put it in, and it's like further recursive. Like, how do horror movies work?
Seriously,
like
ridiculous. Horror movie Inception. It was great.
For our listeners, this is the 2011. Movie Detention, because there's, I guess, many movies called Detention over the last couple of years.
Yeah, most of them are porn, to be fair.
and Dane Cook did not ruin this movie.
No, and I thought he would too.
I enjoyed him.
And right, and even the first like scene that he was in, I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna ruin it. But then he didn't, and it was fine. One thing that I have to say is, what's his name? Josh Hutcherson. Mm. I never really loved the kid, like whatever, but he was the executive producer of that movie.
Really?
Oh, really?
Like, I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, whatever. So maybe he just wanted to make money, or maybe he actually had stake in it getting made. Like, he was actually interested and had fun, which would be cool. Like, I always like it when it's like, hey, I want to see this thing get made.
Is that the Hunger Games dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What was his name? He had the weirdest freaking name. Clapton. Clapton.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was really fun, and you get the most weird cast of characters. You have like it felt very much like a John Waters movie in that sense, where it's like you have the token Asian, the emo chick, the cheerleader.
And his name's Toshiba.
Toshiba,
yeah,
which was just like
Hitachi.
right.
Her name's Toshiba.
And I love crap like that, where it's like, we need to think up a really good name for a token Asian student, and someone's just like, Toshiba.
And right. Normally that would be racist, but the director, and I think writer, is Asian. So
yeah,
it's okay.
Absolutely. And the best thing is that we looked this up after we watched this movie, because we're like, what else has this guy done? Because that was great, and I would love to see more stuff by him. So he's only done like a handful of things, and he's done 2 movies, which is Detention and Torque, which I hope you've seen Torque, because it's amazing. And it totally makes sense. Like, 2 amazing movies. And then he's done, like, nothing but music videos.
Yeah, Britney Spears and stuff.
Like the 3rd credit on his IMDb is, like, a Britney Spears music video.
Which is awesome. Well, and then I know that Ryan had said he watched it, but you haven't, Anton. It also reminded me a lot of John Dies at the End. Just how freaking random it is. Mm-hmm. Like, just so much bizarre crap happens in that movie. And you should really watch John Dies at the End, because it's just like, what is this movie that I'm watching?
Yeah, even though, like, Detention made me feel like I was watching what people with ADHD have or something like that.
Yeah.
I would still say Detention's easier to follow than John Dies at the End. That movie just gets really effing weird.
Yeah. They don't even try. Like, they don't even try to pull together a narrative. It's literally like a sequence of events that you're just thrown into. But not like a David Lynch sequence of events. Like a much weirder, like, buckle up, because you're just going to go through this random.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
It feels like what they maybe showed the main character in A Clockwork Orange. Like, tape his eyes open and show him that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's super bizarre, but super fun as well. I liked it. So everyone should watch Willow Creek.
Everyone should watch Willow Creek and Detention. Go see both of them. You know.
And if either of the production crews, want to sponsor our podcast, I don't think Willow Creek cast has enough money to sponsor our podcast.
I don't think it's in their budget.
No.
Oh, man.
I would really like to know how many people were involved in the making of that movie, because it had to have been less than a dozen. Like, it was, I don't know, the budget for that movie could have been like $500 and they would have been fine.
Now, what's interesting is I did a little extracurricular research on Willow Creek once it ended, and if you go to the IMDb page, it says that it was nominated for an award. So I was like, okay, what award would it be nominated for, right?
Cheapest Films.
So, of course, it's a film festival, the Catalonia International Film Festival. It was nominated for the New Visions Award for non-fiction.
What? Did no one else enter?
I have no idea.
For nonfiction?
No, yeah, no, I didn't mess up. I know the difference between fiction and nonfiction, but it's entered under nonfiction.
So, like, we want to give you this award in remembrance of the 2 actors who died in the making of this film.
So either Bobcat knows way more than he's letting on. That would be so awesome if, like, you look at the actor and actress's IMDb pages and it's like, died tragically in 2013 while filming a found footage film.
It's like Bobcat didn't even direct that film. He literally just found the camera. He was like, I wonder what this is. Oh, I'm going to submit this to a film festival. This is great.
It would make sense because I don't think, like, that was Bobcat's first horror movie, right? Like, he's never done a horror movie before. It's all action and comedy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I know that we had mentioned with the untimely passing of Robin Williams, we mentioned the film World's Greatest Dad, written by Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Makes sense, right?
Totally makes sense.
He's kind of dark. He's kind of dark and funny. I think that's it. Bigfoot. No, this is final parting thoughts. What do you guys think about Bigfoot?
I don't think he exists.
Like, seriously? Like, it's definitely bullshit. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think one of the characters in the movie makes, like, an extremely good point. How he finds, like, thousands of new species every year, but we can't find a pack of large monkeys in the Pacific Northwest. It's like, it's pretty obvious that there's no fucking Bigfoot.
Right.
But now, Nessie, have we searched the whole
Don't even get me started.
Yeah,
it's one freaking lock. It's one lock, like, for sure, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's there.
I hear it's really deep. I don't know. I'll say.
We don't have the technology yet to find it.
Yeah, that's right.
We can send man to outer space, but we don't know what's in the water. Just for 1 second, let's talk about how cool it would be if the animals of planet Earth worked the same way as Pokemon, and they didn't make noises, but they just said their name. It would make death by exotic animal go way down. Because if you're hiking through the woods and all of a sudden you hear, like, cougar, you're like, we're getting the fuck out of these woods right now. Like, whatever. Or it's just like, grizzly bear. You're like, all right, we're out. Like, pack up your shit. We're leaving. There's a grizzly bear here. I can hear it.
I feel like we would definitely have different pets then. Because, like, dog.
Right.
So annoying.
Right. Well, no one would know what a cat was called because they're not going to say anything.
That's true. Yeah.
They're just assholes.
They
just stare
at
you.
They're going to be tight-lipped.
You're like, what's your name? What's your name? What kind are you? But it would just be awesome. And same thing, if you're scared shitless in the woods, but then all of a sudden you just hear, like, raccoon, you're like, okay, we're fine. It doesn't matter. That's fine. Shit. Then you're like, shit, we're
Big butt.
And it would make people smarter, too, especially if the animals could only read their Latin names. They're like, oh shit, what does canis mean?
Oh, shit.
Why do the animals only speak Latin?
Felis catus. But it would be cool, because if that was the case, then we would also be able to capture them in tiny balls and, like, carry them around with us. So, you know, could be like, check out my pet cat. And you'd be like, yeah, check out my pet giraffe.
Well, and I also want to know what kind of economy is completely based on little kids leaving home to catch wild animals in balls.
He's like 9 years old, right? I think in the anime, he's 9 years old.
Yeah, like, and it's just like, okay, yeah, we'll see you in a couple years. Good luck, buddy. Like, see you later. And, like, the entire world revolves around these kids catching Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you're either making Pokemon goods or items for Pokemon trainers to use, like bicycles or fishing rods. That's all there is. That's all that matters.
Or, like, if you're working as a security guard in, like, a mafia-run corporation skyscraper, and, like, a kid comes walking along trespassing, instead of removing him, you challenge him to a battle.
Yeah. Right, you don't shoot the kid in the face with a taser. You're like, oh, dude, my coughing is going to kick your ass.
I have 6 coughings, and they're all level 12. I got you.
Right.
I got you.
Now, the last one didn't get you, but I'm sure this next one will really put you over the limit.
My favorite was when you would encounter the NPC trainers in Pokemon who would just have, like, 6 Metapods. And it's like, why? Why are you out battling right now? You need to go take care of those until they hatch into something that's very helpful. But right now you have
I just like that whole idea of you run into the people who are, like, I think we all know this person in real life that are obsessed with the wrong thing, and you're like, no, clearly it's worthless. You're wasting your time. Like, you have the people who are like, no, but I'm really into, like, rock collecting, and it's like, Listen, literally pick anything else. Anything. Like stamps. I don't care. That's better than rocks. It might make you money one day. Don't be obsessed with bug-type Pokemon. It's not going to work out. They're just not good.
I like that you've officially offended every geologist listening to our podcast.
Here's the thing. If you went all the way through school and got a degree, you know just how worthless your degree in geology is. I'm sorry. It's the truth. I have a friend who went to school and got an archaeology degree. Guess what? It's bullshit, and there's not any jobs.
I mean, I'm not going to put them down, but I just don't understand the mentality. Like, at what point in your life do you say, you know what? I'm going to pay $30, $40, $50, $60,000 to go learn about rocks. And I'm going to be a rock expert.
Right.
Who does that? I mean, what events in your life have to lead up to that? I'm just curious. Someone write me. Send me an email. I want to know.
Right. And also sponsor our podcast.
If you want to sponsor the podcast.
The tons of money you're making with your geology.
Rock money.
to be fair, though, like a USGS job would be better than, like, all three of ours combined.
Okay. Well, thanks for bringing us down to real life, Ryan. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I can't think of anyone else to insult career-wise.
Well, there's tons, dude.
Philosophy. What can you do with a philosophy degree? Sit around and think about why you're unemployed. But that's okay. I went to college and never finished. And I was pursuing an English degree, and the joke in that department is, what's the difference between an English major and a large pepperoni pizza? And it's that the pizza can feed a family of 4.
Pizza can feed a family of 1.
Yeah, it sure can. It sure can.
Pizzas for brunch.
Which is all I'll afford for the rest of my life. Little Caesars.
Yep. And then you have, like, business majors and lawyers are for people who don't know what to do.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But see, I don't want to get all political here, because we did that last time, but I would like to live in a world where I could go to a college and take some philosophy courses just because I'm legitimately interested and would like to learn from someone who's a professional, and not have to dedicate my life to that afterwards because I'm so far in debt.
Right. No, and that's why I really like all the new initiatives where, like, Harvard, Yale, MIT, all sorts of schools are offering free courses online where they're taught by, like, the actual course instructors at those colleges. So, like, oh, you want to learn more about, you know, experimental chemistry or whatever? You go online and you can just basically audit the course for free, which is cool.
You can take those classes. Like, they're electives in college. In a way, you sort of have to take those.
Well, yeah, but the idea is
some of them you have to take,
college,
and you're getting into debt.
And you have to, like, pick a... I mean,
you guys are saying a free professional class, basically.
Right. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want some dipshit at the local, like, community theater center teaching me about philosophy.
Yeah.
Even though
I'm trying to think of any job you can get with a philosophy degree. I mean, not even in a negative way. Like, I'm just genuinely trying to think of, like, who would advertise a job and want you to have a degree in philosophy besides a job teaching philosophy.
Right.
I don't know. Which is a shame because philosophy is pretty cool. I mean,
maybe
I think
gigantic robotics corporations who are like, we're getting there. We're getting to artificial intelligence. What do we need to teach these things?
We gotta teach them stuff, man.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff like philosophy, like English history. Like, we need people to major in them, but you basically have to go for your PhD and just become a professor. Like, that's really your only way out.
Well, same thing with, there's stuff that, like, I think is actually really important as a human race, like art history. But if you get an art history degree, you're gonna end up teaching art history. Like, that's just all there is to it. And it's like, I want to say there's value to it. I can't quite put my finger on why I think there's value to it, but I definitely think people should be majoring in it. But there's just not really a market, unless I guess you become like a curator of a museum.
It would be interesting if, like, they looked at, like, the like world economic landscape and, like, only had so many slots available for each school for each degree. So, like, worldwide there would only be, like, 200, like, art history majors for you to get. But then, you know, like, as of, like, right now, for instance, there would probably be, like, unlimited, like, computer science or something, like STEM stuff. There would be just, like, unlimited. But, like, history, you know, like, only, like, 500 people in the world can major in it or something.
But you're basically guaranteed a job in the field. Yeah, no, that would be awesome.
And also, since you totally sidestepping, just because you said computer science, I wish that every university on the planet would rename computer science to what it really is and just call it programming.
Yeah.
You know what? I got into computer science, and that's what I started my degree in, before I knew that it was literally just nothing but programming classes. That's not interesting. No one's going to sign up for those stupid classes if they know it's just programming. It's so boring. I thought it was going to be like working with computers. No, it should be called keyboard science, because that's all it is.
Keyboard science.
Seriously.
Working with parentheses.
Yeah, exactly. It should be called, like, hours of debugging.
Right. It should be called Find the Missing Parenthetical Statement, or Where Did You Miss a Semicolon?
Or you thought you were logical, but you're not this logical. You
Those
don't
guys,
know logic yet.
They're laughing.
Do you hate people? Turns out you don't.
They're laughing all the way to the bank, though, right now.
Oh, yeah.
All those people.
Well, no, right now, like, all the colleges here in Utah are literally throwing money at people to come do computer science degrees just because there's such a huge need for throwaway devs. Like, there's such a huge need where they're like, we just need a monkey to sit in this chair for 8 hours a day and crank out code. And they get burned out really fast and they want to move on. So we need a huge potential pool of guys that are willing to do it for a month to 6 months and then leave because they hate us.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's the worst. We need to.
I feel bad. I feel bad for those people.
This is why I stopped.
Especially you two, because I care about you guys.
No, don't feel bad for me, because you know what? I did the smart thing, and this is not the universally accepted smart thing, but I realized, like, 2.5 years in, that this was a dead-end degree that I wasn't going to enjoy, that I was not interested in, so I dropped out, and I'm happy with my life. So, okay, I'm less in debt than I would have been if I finished, and I got a pretty good job anyways, so...
See, but Anton, now people like you and people like me are screwed over, right? Because with every passing day, what we're looking at is we're looking at tuition rise and the value of degrees going down. Yeah. So we have less and less incentive to go to school, which sucks because I like learning things.
Me too. I love school.
I like education. I like learning cool things about life, about the way things work, everything, right? But I have zero incentive to go pay $60,000 for a degree that is now worth way less than it was 10, 15 years ago.
Mm.
Yeah.
Which sucks. It totally sucks.
Yeah.
Like, there used to be a time when you could recoup what you paid in tuition in your first year on a job that you got with that degree. And now, if you pay it off in 10 years, you're lucky. I mean, you're doing good. And
it's funny because, like, I know that this is, like, a terrible example or whatever, but I've been out of school for a while now, and, like, I literally feel like I'm getting dumber. Like, I'm constantly looking for, like, I need a new book to read. I need something to, like, stimulate myself because I'm not going to school. I don't have that, like, structure where I'm like, I need to learn about this or I need to learn about that. So now literally all of my study is hot linking on Wikipedia. Like, oh, I want to learn more about this. Oh, now there's this link I want to learn more about. And next thing I know, I have 20 tabs, and maybe that's the best education I could hope for. And it's a good one.
I think it kind of is because, like, I know, like, for me, like, in high school and college, like, I would get interested in a subject. Like, in high school, like, I really wanted to learn French. But then, like, I would take a class and just, like, the monotony and, like, test-based structure of it just, like, killed my my want to learn it.
Right.
And then I was just like, oh, fuck it. Well, like, if I'm just, like, free to just, like, peruse whatever I find interesting, I, like, dive really deep into that stuff. Whereas if I took a class, it'd probably, like, kill the passion right out of me.
Right. Well, no, and it's like all the time, like, I'm sure you guys are the same. You'll be having conversations with people at work, and, like, someone will finally just go, like, how the hell do you know so much about this? And it's literally like, because I spent hours on Wikipedia. Like, that's all there is to it. Like, you could find out the exact same amount about quantum entanglement if you spend a couple hours reading about it on Wikipedia. Like, that's all there is to it. Click on all the hot links. You'll learn a lot. And it's awesome. It's crap like that where it's like, I agree. If I took a class on quantum mechanics, I would literally glaze over and die. Like, not even just my eyes, my whole body. I would be covered in glaze and I'd die.
It's really like the homework stuff, too. It's like, you're forced to do it at a specific pace. And just like, it's like work. Like, if you, like, didn't have to, like, if you were like a billionaire and didn't have to work, like, your job would be a little bit more interesting for you because you know you don't have to do it. You could leave any second. But, you know, everyone's job is a little worse because you know, like, you have to do it. You have to get up at a specific, like, time in the morning to go.
Well, and it's funny, right? Because I'm sure we've all had the days at work where, like, for whatever reason, you're, like, super motivated, you get a ton of shit done, but the time still flies. And it's like, why can't work be like that every day? Instead, it's like this constant monotony where you're, like, fighting against yourself where, like, I'm going to get yelled at if I don't get this shit done, you know? And it's just like, oh, whatever. It is what it is. We all need to make money. Water. You got to hydrate.
Mm-hmm.
Run from Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if there are degrees in like cryptozoological. Yeah. I would take those classes.
There's got to be, dude. I guarantee someone offers it. It's probably
right.
University of Phoenix, but I'm sure somebody offers it.
Well, you see, and that's why we need the Futurama like heads in jars, because I really want to take a cryptozoology class taught by H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
That would be
That'd
awesome.
be great.
Stuff like that, just like anything. Oh, you want to learn about like racial segregation in the 1800s? Class taught by Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Is like you just need to find the most niche degree possible. So like one of those things like where like when something weird happens and like a reporter like interviews someone and their like name pops up and then their like title comes beneath it and you're just like that shouldn't exist. You need to be that dude.
Right. No, it's like the age old thing of like I want the job where like I'm naming crayons, like new colors of crayons. Like how do I get that job?
Yeah, someone has that job.
Right.
It's not us.
Whose bread do I have to butter and how hard to get that job? You know what I mean? Where it's just like, it's just what everybody wants. Who doesn't want to sit in a room with like new colors of crayons rolling through and you're just like,
bam,
burnt amber, macaroni and cheese.
You know what? Knowing like corporate culture, it's probably not even one guy. It's probably a committee. There's probably a committee of people who get paid to debate the name of the colors and then ultimately form like a flow chart and make like serious decisions about what they should be called, you know.
But you see, that's why I love writing. That's why I love writing so much, because like you see all those pictures of like early Simpsons writers where they're all just in like some dude's living room with a pizza and they're just talking about like what shit is funny. Or even like Saturday Night Live guys. I don't love Saturday Night Live, but it's literally a group of funny people in a room just bullshitting for a couple hours and they come up with it. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's the job I want. I want to like show up sometime late in the afternoon, bullshit for a couple hours, and just get paid gobs of money.
So you want to be a stand-up comedian?
I would love to be a stand-up comedian.
I just want a job where they don't expect me to do 8 hours of work for 8 hours of pay. And I know that sounds like I'm lazy, but realistically, especially in a job in IT, my job is to make things automated and easy and fast. So I shouldn't be doing 8 hours of work a day, and we should be optimizing things, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, you know what I mean.
No, I've always heard, and even as someone who, like, I know a lot about the tech field, but I don't work in the tech field, like, the golden rule is the best tech person is the one you never talk to.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking to them, it means something went wrong. It means that something's broken, right? But if they're on top of it, eventually anything will go down. Shit happens, right? It just happens. You drop a hard drive or power goes out or whatever, right? But other than that, it's like you should never hear from them because they're doing all the shit behind the scenes to just keep things running smoothly and making sure. And literally, I don't know one single tech person who can't do that remotely any hour of the day. You know what I mean? Like, oh, turns out server's still up. You're fine. Just refresh your page. See you later. That's my job. That'd be awesome.
But you can apply it to any job.
It's not awesome, though.
It's not awesome.
It's really bad.
No, but I'm saying if it was that way, it would be awesome.
But then you just get bored.
But, Ryan, you would fill your time with things you love instead.
Exactly.
Maybe, or you'd be really bored.
Depends on, I guess, where you work. Because you're going to have to like, fill out timesheets about what you did.
Like, all jobs
but that's what I'm saying you don't have. You don't have time requirements. Like, you go do whatever you want during the day, and if things are running great, they're running great, and it doesn't matter, but you still get paid for a full day. That would be awesome.
Sound like a commie.
Right.
But, I mean, how cool would that be if jobs were just goal-oriented? Like, I'm hiring this teacher, and your goal is by the end of the year to make sure these kids know this stuff. And you can do it as much or as little as you want, however you want to do it. I don't care. Just teach these kids this shit and make sure they know it by this date. Or I'm hiring you to make sure the server doesn't crash. And if you are here 20 minutes a day, once a month, and it doesn't crash, great. I'm getting my money's worth. But it's always these stupid requirements where it's like, okay, well, we're hiring you, and it's going to be 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, and you got to be here and sit in your cubicle and read Reddit for 7.5 hours a day, and that makes it seem like there's more productivity.
Fine. I feel for you. I do. I chose the wise path, and I just bullshitted my way to the top. And that's what you have to do.
That's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, it really is. You just have to find that person, and you have to suck and kiss ass.
You gotta
do whatever.
You have to sell with your eyes. That's really
I do.
what it's about.
Well, what I have found, and Ryan, you might have found the same thing, it's the freckles. If you have freckles, people will believe whatever the hell you say, because you're innocent.
No,
it's like, it gives my face a cherubic quality. I'm like, I would never lie.
In my experience, the freckles just make people creeped out.
Oh. I haven't had that. With me, it's always like, oh, you're just cute as a button. And even though that kind of drives me crazy, I'm like, well, I can get away with whatever I want. So that's fine. Good trick.
Yeah, they're right, though. I mean, you're pretty adorable. I mean, come on.
I know, right? If you look like Opie, you can get away with anything you want.
Yeah.
It's true, Ryan. Embrace the power of the freckle.
I don't really have freckles.
That's true. Maybe like a few right here.
No.
For the listening audience, I'm pointing to the upper cheeks. This plays really good for a listening audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, Ryan, but I have a few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm covered.
To be fair, I can't tell through Skype. You're just pixelated enough that I can't.
Yeah, John's very.
Oh no,
freckly.
yeah, those are freckles for sure.
Yeah, I've got them. I'm at least half redhead. At least half. It happens. Let's see. Yeah, even my arms. I'm covered. I'm speckled. This is really good. This is really good for people listening.
For those listening,
now look at my arm. Now look at my other arm.
arm.
Right. The ones on my shoulders are really big. Do you want to see those? I know.
What were we talking about? We were talking about something productive.
We were talking about jobs and philosophy and geology and about how archaeology is nothing like Indiana Jones taught me it would be, which pisses me off. And
paleontology is nothing like Jurassic Park.
Right, and becoming a detective is nothing like any of procedural cop dramas. It's literally just filling out paperwork 8 hours a day and doing dumb bullshit like calling people and saying, hey, did you murder your neighbor? And they're like, no, I didn't. And you're like, well, shit, that's a dead end. It's terrible. Like, jobs are nothing. Like we are led to believe.
Pretty much.
Well.